Welcome to the Capital Gains Tax Solutions podcast, where we believe most high net worth individuals and those who help them, they struggle with clarifying their capital gains tax deferral options. Not having a clear plan is the enemy, and using a proven tax deferral strategy, such as the Deferred Sales Trust, is the best way for you to sell and defer hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars in capital gains tax on the sale of your business, real estate, cryptocurrency, primary home, save a failed 1031 exchange, all so you can create and preserve more wealth and have a little more freedom with your wealth plan. Hey, I'm your host, Brett Swarts. In each episode, I'm joined by some of the best real estate, financial, business, sometimes M&A, business brokers, sometimes crypto experts in the world, where they share their ideas, deal stories, and inspiration. So together we can make complex tax deferral strategies simple and passive income plans achievable. By the way, we're also streaming on expert CREsecrets.com as well. So if you're listening to us there, we also welcome all the listeners. So please welcome to the show with me. He is the founder of Veristrat. He has been in the business of valuation since 2000 and has valued assets in real estate, industrial, personal property, and financial assets, including some unique assets in the Golden Gate Bridge, New York City subway system, Hartsfield Atlanta Airport, and Las Vegas casinos. Please welcome, I'm make sure I pronounce this correctly, Bharat, and it's Kanodia. Can you pronounce that correctly for me?
Kanodia. Brett, thank you for having me. And boy, you got your spiel down. You've done this before.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we keep learning from some of the best in the podcast world, and we just try to improve every single day. But to start the show, I always like to give our listeners a little bit about your story and your focus. So, would you share a little bit about your story and your current focus?
Sure. I currently help. Most of my clients are either startups or venture capital firms that need valuations. As you can imagine, startups are raising capital every 3 to 6 months, so they need a valuation. And correspondingly, the venture capital firms are always raising capital and investing capital. So they need valuation almost on a weekly basis. So those are my ideal clients right now. And I've been in this world and this business for 21 years, and it's been a great ride.
Excellent. And by the way, you can learn more about Bharat Kanodia at veristrat.com. That's Veristrat. I want to spell that for everybody. It's VERISTRAT.com. And we're talking all about what is it worth? What's your business worth? What's the maybe even the real estate property worth? You've been able to do over 4,000 valuations with your team, values of over $800 billion. And so, if there's a leader in the industry that's done more than that, I don't know if I know them. So this is going to be a really exciting show for our listeners. So let's just start with, I think probably one of the most challenging things in today's times is valuating assets in such a highly appreciated marketplace, especially where some people are paying multiple X multipliers for especially M&A, mergers and acquisition deals, and trying to get this pro forma. Can you make sense of where we're at as a whole on the macro for valuations, and then also how you're looking at it to make sure that both sides feel like they're getting a fair and equitable deal?
That's a great question, Brett. And the way I explain valuations or finance to people is everything has a cost, and money too has a cost. So if the cost of money is low, the valuations are high. When the cost of money is high, valuations are low. Right now, the cost of money, which is really the prime or the interest rate, is very low. And because of that, valuations are very high, similar to the housing market. So valuations are always a moving target, if you will. And I'm not someone who will pontificate upon if the valuations are correct or incorrect. I can't comment if the public markets are valuing things correctly or incorrectly, right? If somebody's writing a check, well, that's the valuation. But they are frothy currently because the cost of money is low.
Yeah, I would agree. And that's really fascinating the way you put that. Yeah, the cost of money is low. When the cost of money is low, like now, interest rates are very low, all time lows, record lows for a very long period of time now. valuations tend to be high. And then when cost of money is high, valuations tend to be low, right? Because you can't leverage and purchase as much because you don't have much purchasing power. And so when you're seeing these opportunities to evaluate, and you're looking at it from it looks like you're doing the appraisals, but also you're also doing the mergers and acquisitions. Would you give a little bit about your service and what you provide, and then how what your even if your take on the marketplace, where do you think we're at in this market cycle?
I help in M&A. I help buyers make sure that they are getting what they are paying for, and sellers ensuring they are also getting what their assets are worth. For example, I am helping a small chain of grocery stores in the North Carolina and South Carolina. They have about 18 stores, and the buyer and seller, they want to consummate a deal, but they can't decide what the right purchase price is. So they brought me in to be the tiebreaker. I am helping a startup currently exit, and they have raised about $26 million, and they are looking to exit about 300 million. They're getting acquired by a PE firm, and the PE firm brought me in to sort of just check them out and make sure that 300 million is reasonable. So I help buyers and sellers on the M&A side. Think of me as a vet, if you will. A dog, a horse, a frog. It's all the same. So I am industry agnostic. I am size agnostic, but I focus on my magic eight ball, which is valuations.
Very good. I appreciate that. And so one of the biggest challenges with folks who are selling, they, start up for 26 million, selling for 300 million, is estate tax challenges and capital gains tax challenges. So what's the biggest frustration for you and or your clients when it comes to selling highly appreciated assets and lack of, let's say in the real estate world, you have at least the 1031 exchange, which you can trade like kind investment property for other like kind investment property. But what's the biggest frustration when it comes to like the M&A deals? Because 1031s have been restricted down to just investment property. Any thoughts on that?
Great question, Brett. And from what I have seen is poor planning, and specifically poor tax planning. They love to hear that their company is selling for 300 million or $500 million or what have you. But when they have to write a check to Uncle Sam, or I should say, when they have to write multiple checks to Uncle Sam at the state level, at the federal level, they are not very happy about it. And that is mostly because they haven't really planned it out.
I couldn't agree with you more, right? We always say you want to pre-plan your exit plan first, right? Or before you sell the asset, you separate the two. And also too, talk about this, the emotional part of it, right? Because people, it's their baby, it's their life work, it's their future legacy for their wealth and their family. And sometimes when those two collide, and it's last minute. Sometimes we get calls from folks like, "Hey, we're closing this, $25 million deal in 2 weeks, and we're learning about what you do for the first time." And it's like, so we're like, well, we can work under a fire drill, but no one likes to do that. And these things we have to set up prior to. So just kind of give us that take of advising people, separate the two, right? Prepare your exit plan first, and then go to market and sell and get caught up in all of what is a very intense negotiations.
The analogy that I give to people is you don't just wake up one day as a senior in high school and say, I want to go to Stanford tomorrow. It doesn't work like that unless, you're a genius with, shitload of money who can just cut a check. Even then you can't get into Stanford. You have to need to prepare for your high school exit, if you will, a couple of years ahead. Similarly, if you're exiting a business or looking to sell it or looking to buy one, you need to be planning and prepping at least a couple of years ahead.
It's so succinct, and I love how concise you are with the answers. You just get right to the point. I imagine that's probably one of your gifts that you've been given, right? That you just cut it down to the exact of what needs to be done and what needs to be heard. And so I love the way you put that. You don't just wake up in senior in high school and say you want to go to Stanford. It's so true, right? It's like you're in junior high. Your parents are already talking about how you're going to be going to college and that you're going to be going to college and this is why you're going to college and they're going to be telling you, right? And you're preparing for that and you're getting into high school, you're taking the exams, you're doing the SAT prep work, the ACC prep work. You're doing all of these little things to prepare for this test, your senior year, right? To be able to go to this 4-year university. And then we get on the other side and we're building these companies and we're going 100 miles an hour and you're going, you think you're going to have a great exit plan or tax plan if you're not doing the prep work. So what's the best way, I guess, to get the attention of the entrepreneur, right? Or even the person who has a lot of cryptocurrency and has hit, let's say, either the cryptocurrency lottery or has done very well in investing in that. What's the best way to get their attention to actually take action?
Um, Most people who work for large companies, who have large chunks of stock options, and they have no idea that there are advisors like you who are available who can help them with tax planning and deferring taxes. And there are all kinds of nuances, and all kinds of specialized advisors that can help them with things. And that is probably because they many times look at small business owners or advisors in not the best light. And that is to their peril. Advisors like yourselves, attorneys and other CPAs or tax attorneys, they can help them save a lot of money. So they need to start doing their homework and their diligence on advisors that, hey, when I am pulling the trigger, who am I going to be calling in? Kind of like almost like dating, right? You don't just, not everybody's lucky to find their high school sweetheart, right? I mean, you got to kiss a lot of frogs. So start kissing frogs.
Very well said. Yeah, we like to say with the deferred sales trust, it's kind of like a marriage in a sense, right? And it's long term as a third party unrelated trustee. That's our role here at Capital Gains Tax Solutions. And it's like this is something that we're gonna have to get to know each other and get comfortable with. So ideally, again, we're planning. You're talking with clients. You're doing the due diligence on the structure, on the legality, on how and where the funds can be invested. We're trying to map out a vision for your future of your wealth and all of these little pieces. And it's kind of like in a Rubik's Cube. You have the blue side, the yellow, the red, the green, and you want to do your best to kind of line this up. But if it's all thrown against the wall last minute, guess what? It's probably not all these things are going to be lined up and it's going to be some frustration. So we want to, we're constantly encouraging our clients and potential clients to plan and pre-plan. So unfortunately, we got started late, and I know we're just starting on this conversation. So we're actually going to do a two-part series for our listeners who are out there, and we're going to go into even more things with NFTs and cryptocurrency and estate planning and valuation. So I'm going to have Bharat back in about a week or two, probably 2 weeks. Okay, so this is going to be an intro to that. But I do want everyone to know that he has an amazing YouTube channel, and it's what's it worth, okay, which is trademark, which is really cool. And if you search on YouTube, and you can find that channel again, what's it worth on YouTube. So check that out. Any last parting words for our listeners before you come back for part two in maybe 2 weeks?
Um, Exit planning, Brett, is just like anything else. It's like when you're buying a house, right? There's a process that you go through. People who are successful at it, they have a process. When you are looking to get into college or when you're applying for that job, there's a process around it. Similarly, exit planning is very much a process, and advisors and consultants like you are really the key to having a successful and a profitable exit. You don't want to be getting $100 million and cutting 60 million to Uncle Sam. That doesn't feel good. Give Uncle Sam his share, but try to minimize it as much as you can.
Yeah, we couldn't agree more. And so you can learn more at capitalgainstaxsolutions.com, by the way, if you want to learn about what we're doing, how we're helping our clients. And we will have Bharat back on about 2 weeks. And so thanks so much for watching this episode on YouTube or listening to it on iTunes. Please rate, review, subscribe, and please share this with somebody who's selling a business, right? Or needs an evaluation, who's selling cryptocurrency, right? And is looking at large capital gains taxes or looking for a great M&A advisor that you can connect with and or do an evaluation with Bharat Kanodia. I'm still working on that last name, so I have to apologize for that. But I think that is the rest of the show. And I look forward to connecting with everybody here again soon and look for the second part, full episode in about 2 weeks. Thanks.